It's Our Story. Kate Gaynor, Atlanta, Georgia.
I had a pretty unique childhood. I'm one of the old hands at this. I grew up when the country was still segregated, and that was very true in Atlanta too, even though the propaganda is out that it wasn't so bad, but it was, even in Atlanta. And so I was segregated on many levels, being a female African American with a disability. But I was lucky in that the community that I lived in kind of greeted me with open arms, and I wasn't considered special. I was just one of the kids. And the parents that I had were exceptional in the fact that with very little education in segregated Atlanta, they sought the best for me. And therefore, I was educated. It was always said that it was always stated when Kate goes to college, not if Kate goes to college. And that was exceptional back then. I went to a segregated special ed class in Atlanta. The first special ed class for black kids with disabilities. Now, some people would think that would be a downer, but it wasn't. My experiences in that classroom gave me the foundation to be the person I am today. We were really educated as opposed to today, where kids are warehoused, especially, and they age out. I graduated from elementary school and went on to regular high school. My elementary school teacher had been a regular ed teacher and was specially trained and brought into our classroom. And that was exceptional in itself. But on top of that, she was an exceptional person. She had 16 of us with varying degrees of cerebral palsy, varying mental capabilities, and she handled all of us by herself. The class was organized by Emory University and the March of Dimes, and it was organized as an experiment to see if we were educable. It was unique in the fact that there were three voices that controlled the class: the teacher, our parents, and the doctor. They all worked hand in hand in our education. And so far, we've all been pretty successful in everything we've chosen to do. So that was my growing up period in segregated Atlanta. I experienced discrimination in the fact that there were no buses going out to Emory University. There was a departure point where black people had to get off and walk the rest of the way out to Emory. It doesn't seem so far today, but it was pretty far. And with my mother carrying me in her arms with all my braces and everything, you can imagine the time she had. When we got to Emory, Emory was just as segregated as General Society. And even though black kids and white kids were there to see the same doctor, we had to sit on different sides of the waiting room. But kids being kids, we usually got in the middle and played with each other. So much for segregation. There was one time I remember very specifically that my mother and my brother and myself were coming from Emory. And my brother told my mother he was hungry. And so we stopped off in downtown Atlanta at the Crystal Restaurant. And my brother was maybe 7, I guess. Anyway, boys being boys, he immediately climbed up on the stool to sit down to wait to be served. And the waiter came over to the counter where we were and told my mother he couldn't serve us until my brother got down. And then we had to eat outside.
The It's Our Story project is a national effort to make disability history public and accessible. Visit us at www.itsourstory.org or on the It's Our Story project YouTube channel.